today. Awesome. We're thrilled to have you join us for what promises to be an engaging and insightful presentation and discussion. Today's event features a presentation followed by a discussion. So we encourage you to share your thoughts and questions during the discussion segment afterwards. So feel free to note down any questions that you have while our speaker presents. Before we dive in, just please note you just heard it, but this event is being recorded and later it will be available on our YouTube channel. So feel free to share that link with others or revisit the content at any time. Our duration for this event will be 90 minutes. So as I said before, we'll present and then open the floor for questions. And then at the end of the session, I'll remind you of this then, but we will kindly ask you to complete a feedback form, which can really help us improve future events. And then please don't forget to follow our Proudest Universal social media channels, visit our websites. We have some exciting new initiatives and events coming up that we would love all of your participation in. So without further ado, I will present our speaker today, who is Pradiipa or Filipa. Pradiipa holds a degree in psychology and since 1995 has dedicated her life to volunteering and coordinating social and humanitarian projects in Portugal and Africa, especially in the fields of local and community development and psychosocial support in vulnerable socioeconomic contexts. She currently lives in the village of Paul, very close to the Ananda Kalyani Master Unit in Portugal. Since 2016, she has been actively collaborating with the Prout Research Institute Portugal, or PRIP, where she now serves as president of the board. So we are very honored and thrilled to have Pradiipa here with us, and I will pass it over to you.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me. I'm also very excited to be here, to have this opportunity to share with all of you the work that we have been doing. For me to share, I would like to invite you for a little journey with me. So I have here a presentation. I'm going to share this presentation, share the screen. And so that we can go through the journey of Prout's work in Portugal. And I hope everyone is hearing me and seeing the screen. Everything fine? Perfect. Okay, so thank you. So let's start just to share with you what are the contents that I would like to share. So it's to start with a brief introduction of PRIP and PRIP work in Portugal. Then I'm going to focus more on the current work that we are doing here. So it was a process and somehow they are all engaged, the block level planning, the Samaj Movement, and the cooperative, the startup that we created just in a few weeks. And this specifically Integral Cooperative. So this is the proposal. And then to share a little bit with you the challenge and the learnings from this process. And of course, to talk with you and to hear your questions and just have a conversation about this work and hearing your suggestions also and comments about what we are doing. I think we want to work together with many of you. So beginning with this journey, we need to start with the PRIP that works in the national level. So it's Prout Research Institute Portugal. And it was created in 2013 with the mission, of course, as a research institute, Prout Research Institute, to promote Prout as a viable alternative socio-economic model that advocates the ethical leadership, ecological balance, social justice, economic democracy, regional self-sufficiency and cooperative enterprise. This is, I'm sure, very familiar for all the Proutists here. So, since 2013, PRIP started to have different activities, but were more focused in these three general activities. So study circles, tools to change the world study circles. We had a few in Lisbon and in Covilhã. Covilhã, it's the region that is in the interior center of Portugal and is where the master unit is located. And so we started to have some study circles. PRIP was promoting that. Also, an initiative that it was called Economic Democracy in Action gatherings. And this was happening in this Covilhã region, so near the master unit. And it was somehow moments that they gathered here, for example, in the center, the picture in the center, it is in the university, and so brought together some experts or some people from the university or others that can discuss topics related with economic democracy. And also some film screenings with debates and some events that were bringing the Prout principles and proposals. So it's a little bit to disseminate Prout. Until one point that we were invited to be part of the organization of the New Vision for Europe, the System Change and Sustainability Conference in Lisbon. This was in 2020, and it was the Future Planet Europe that was the organizer in co-organization with PRIP. So the Future Planet, it's what it is now, the Systems Change Alliance. And it was a very interesting conference, very successful, very thoughtful, provoking, and I think it was a turning point for us in PRIP, because we were so inspired by what happened there and by everything. So we had, the conference had 3 days, but also in the end of the days, we had some meetings, PRIP with the Future Planet and other Proutists and the Proutist Universal. So we were really inspired. And with all that energy, so we came back and we thought in PRIP, okay, we want to implement something. We want to really create a project that can bring all of this into action, into a place, and how we can do that. And so introducing a little bit more deeply the region that we are talking about. So it's this region that has 3 municipalities. The one that I already mentioned is Covilhã, Fundão, and Belmont. It's a bioregion that we can say. It's a region that is like, the limits are not administrative or political, they were in the past, but it's more like a cultural identity related with this called Cova da Beira. So it's Cova da Beira region, and it is a beautiful, fertile land in between 3 mountains, and has these 3 municipalities. So Cova da Beira, in terms of the inhabitants, it's around 79,000, more than 79,000, almost 80,000 inhabitants in these 1,373 kilometers. And we thought, okay, so this has the perfect, this region has the perfect dimension and the perfect setting to start a block level planning, because it doesn't have more than 100,000 inhabitants, as PR Sarkar suggests. So it's small enough to go deep and to bring together people and engage them, to know the problems and the needs, and to create together solutions. And so that's what we intend to do. So to start with this block level planning, we wanted to promote the economic democracy, of course, the decentralized economy, and to create this participatory local planning to involve the people, to involve the local leaders, to involve the organizations in the different areas of work, etc. So the goals were, as it is the block level planning, our goals were to create concrete solutions to the region's problems and to guarantee the minimum needs of the population, not only that, but also the maximum of the amenities and increasing the quality of life. So creating this more self-sufficient and resilient bioregion. This was the motor of everything. So what happened in 2020? So it was the same year of the conference. The conference was in March. And already after that, we started with these interviews, like personal interviews with 32 local organizations and local leaders from very different areas and spheres of acting. I'm sorry, the chart, it's written in Portuguese. You can see the logos, but it's a research institute, so it's the university and other institutes of research, cooperatives, agricultural cooperatives and associations, so business associations, cultural associations, environmental, the governmental institutions also, so the city halls, included innovation organizations, rural development, social and humanitarian organizations, tourism and ecological communities, and social communication. And so we try to have a little bit of all of this. So with them, and it was individual interviews that we did, we went deep to what they felt was the main problems and needs of the region, what were the potentialities and untapped resources that they found out, and the main solutions that they already had. And so we thought, okay, we had these 32 organizations, but this is not enough for us. We think that we could create also these community sessions. So we went to the citizens and we create community sessions with the same questions. So what they felt was the needs, the problems, the solutions, and the potentialities. We went also to the local markets, and this was a process and a long process because, as you know, it was COVID time, so it was not so easy to see people and to meet people and make events or people be available. But it was for 2 years that we were making all this process, so it was like a long process. And so we gathered, and in the local markets, we not only were collecting these, but also already it was a way of already promoting what we envisioned and we wanted to create, that it was like a movement of citizens. So we had this moment of collecting and making the participatory diagnosis, but at the same time already with the intention of mobilizing the citizens and the organizations to work together to implement these solutions and to reflect even more. So from all of these, we created reports. I'm not going into deep now in what it is the results of this report, because it's to extend, and I think for our session doesn't make any sense. But I'm going to mention some of the main problems and needs, just because to mention that one of them is specifically, so the lack of cooperation and strategic regional plan, one of the most felt and expressed by the organizations and the citizens, in parallel with others that we say here. So it's in interior and rural area, there's a lack of employment opportunities. The youth feels that a lot. It's also, by one hand, there's a lack of employment opportunities, but also a lack of labor force, for example, for agriculture. And we can see that the agricultures are getting very old, and it's that elder community. And so lack of mobility, low wages, and so different main problems and needs. But we focus on this lack of cooperation and strategical regional plan. And people felt that somehow we were not working together, we were not cooperating. So just mentioning that we have like the full report in our website in PRIP.pt, and I think it's in Portuguese now, but we will have there in English, and I can then spread the word and share with you when we have in English, because maybe for you Portuguese it's not very okay. So we having this in mind, that the people were feeling the lack of cooperation and strategical planning. So we went to the first moment, so going again in our journey of different moments of the PRIP's work, the one that is more significant to the work that we are doing now, that it was the start of the Cova da Beira Converge movement. So from all of these moments of the participatory diagnosis, we launched the proposal of the Cova da Beira Converge movement. And we made a first gathering in the university in November of 2022. This was a very significant moment. More than 95 people came to this gathering, and for our region, this is a very good number of people. And so we proposed in this movement. So this Cova da Beira Converge, it's a movement of citizens and organizations that come together to define and implement concrete actions that increase the self-sufficiency and resilience of the Cova da Beira bioregion, fostering the citizen participation and boosting the local economy and increasing the quality of life of the population. So this is, as you can see, it's the main goal of the block level planning, and it's combining this block level planning with the Samaj movement, which means that for us, it didn't make sense to have, okay, we have a report. It's a beautiful report with a lot of proposals and interesting proposals, but we need to have the people to implement them, and we need to have the organizations to implement them. And so we have to have the movement and the energy that can keep with the thinking and the solutions and implementing all of these. So that was our proposal, to combine these two, block level planning and Samaj movement. And so in this day, we had round tables, and we tried since the beginning to engage the politicians and the local authorities, so, and the NGOs, so they were present there. Also the cultural and arts aspect. So we had a local art exhibition and performance, and since the beginning we saw that for this movement, it is crucial to have the cultural aspect and the arts. And it was the creation of our thematic working groups. So since the beginning, in the first gathering, we create 5 working groups with different topics. So one of them, agriculture, culture, environment, education, justice and social welfare, and territorial planning. Oh, they are 6, but territorial planning, it was one of the that didn't proceed so much. So the 5 that I already mentioned was the one that persisted during the time. And so people were gathering and were joining the working groups that they feel more connected or they would like to contribute. And also it was possible, and people that rotate working groups. So we started with that, and this is the picture of the final the moment of our gathering. It was, people were really enthusiastic, and we could feel the energy and the willing and the words that were shared, like enthusiasm, joy, and hope. People were sharing that, so we are feeling some hope. And we started like that. So it was quite exciting for us. So then from all of that, we went to our gatherings, and we proposed to have monthly gatherings. So each month we would get together and work in our vision, what we want to do together, what is our purpose, and what are, again, reinforcing again, what are the main needs in the region and what we can do together. And so we keep gathering, also creating our manifesto, what are our goals. And so going into deep into these moments, then we had the thematic groups. For example, here it's the education group. Also, at some point, our gatherings, we included thematics in the gatherings, which means that we created roundtables and we invited speakers that somehow they could bring us and inspire us, or bring us more knowledge or information about topics that we were working, and or with strategies or solutions that we think it would be crucial for us to know more in order to achieve our mission, or just to bring the topics for people to reflect on them in more deep, in with different perspectives of that topic. And so the group also suggested the thematics that they wanted to bring for our gatherings. So we started to have these different roundtables, and the gatherings, the monthly gatherings, we always go to a different place. Each month it's in a different place. For example, here we went to Ananda Kalyani. It was our master unit. It was a place for one of the gatherings. But we are always going around. It's a way of involving more organizations and people from the region to know more places and to know more initiatives and to engage more. So each month we go to a different place, and people already inviting us, or we suggest to go there. So we keep going with our different gatherings. We went and go also in some visits. Here we are in the agriculture professional school, that has also a very big potential. It has 300 hectares of land available for agriculture projects. And we are also already in partnership with them, trying to see how we can work more together and do more. But I will go into this a little bit later. And also, one specific thing is that in our gatherings, we try to have dances in the end. So it's a way of celebrating, it's a way of bringing the culture aspect and the arts aspect, and a way of being more, connecting more the people with each other. So we dance in the end of our gatherings. So here we can have perspective of all the gatherings since the first one until the end of the 2024. So we can see our journey. And here, sorry, part of this image, it's in Portuguese, but I think we can just focus on the topics that we brought to our gatherings. So we can see from the first one that I was sharing to the eighth, we had 8 gatherings with this more internal reflection, creating the vision, the values, creating the mission, the goals. And then we went to the roundtables and bringing topics for each of the gatherings. So we had topics as local currencies, cooperatives, the water management, regenerative communities, regenerative agriculture, social welfare, also the cultural movements that had the name of Cultopia, education and mental health, economic democracy. We have a festival in the summer. We end with something that is dances are more festival in the streets or in the open air. Then mining, housing, renewable energy, forests. So this was until the end of 2024. And this year, we started the year with a public presentation with the results of these 2 years, and also our popular assembly. And other 2 topics that was food sovereignty and circular economy. So the next gathering, for example, it's about the transport and mobility. It's one of the needs here and the problems in the region. So going into what can say the impact in numbers, we already had 25 gatherings and 15 of them were thematic. We had like an average of 20 and 30 participants attending the gatherings. Of course, this is irregular. Some of them have more and some of them have less. We have a total of 152 members, and this we refer to our Telegram group, so people that are somehow related to the movement. Also a mailing list, and we have 2 in 2 weeks, so we send newsletters, even with all the resumes and all the contents that are talked in the roundtables and our gatherings. So all the contents we share. We went already to 21 locations, different locations, as I mentioned. So we go and visit around. And for this, we have 3 people in the team. So we can say the coordination team. 2 of them as part-time and 1 of them full-time. We have 37 partners organization, and 5 of them are institutional partners. So as we can mention, is the city halls, the 3 city halls that I mentioned, so the municipalities. So it's Covilhã, Fundão, and Belmonte. The other one, it's the university. It's a key partner since the beginning. And then we, at some point, had a media partner. So it's a journal, a regional journal that he's also a partner. It's a career journal. And we have 6 mentors. It's like people that somehow help us since the beginning to have like a big perspective and then more overall perspective of the project and give us advices and so many. Maybe some of you know James Killigan or Satya Turner. They were more since the beginning. They were helping us to create the structure of the Cova da Beira Converge movement. Then we have a national mentor. It's a professor from the university. He holds a PhD in economics, and it's his name José Pires Manso. He is really engaging and supporting us. And then we also have Bruno Ramos. He was coordinator of one big project, tourism project and social and rural development projects in the region, and he was also a journalist and from the communication sphere, and he was really engaged since the beginning. This is also a teacher professor in the university, but also pro-rector for finances at the UBI. UBI, it's the name of the university, and also an expert in social entrepreneurship. And Alexandre Silva, or can be known also as Abik. He's from Ananda Kalyani, one of the founders, and also a very good person to find some and to think together in all the structure of the Cova da Beira Converge movement. So we have this as the mentors, but for all of the thematic gatherings, we invite speakers. And these speakers, we also feel that they are getting part of the network of people related. And so we had already 83 speakers in our gathering. So a lot of people from many different themes, experts nationally or regionally, that are from the agriculture, culture, mining, philosophy, economy, forests, so many different experts, and somehow they get involved, and they are not mentors as the others, but they are open to support the movement. So going again to our road, and we can see from all of these the groups, the 5 working groups that I mentioned to you, they create more proposals. So we had a first participatory diagnosis that was until 2022, and then since the start and the beginning of our movement, the groups already created and went more deep in the problems and the needs, and created more proposals and solutions that they felt it was important for achieving the self-sufficiency and the better quality of life of the population. So I'm not going too deep because it's a list of different aspects, and we are also collecting all of these in a report that we are going to make public in the next month, in April. So until the end of the month, we will make it public. But I'm going to focus on the 3 main proposals of each of the groups. So the agriculture group, one of the proposals, and because of the context here regarding agriculture, it was to create a cooperative. So the local producers, they, as I mentioned already, they are LDRs, or as we know, it's very difficult for the small producers because they are small producers. They cannot sell so much. So they somehow have informal accounting or doesn't have any accounting. And so for them, a cooperative would be very important to provide accounting or logistical support or other support. I will go in more deep a little bit later about this cooperative. Also, the food sovereignty plan and so implementing a local food system. And the proposal is to create a short chain between the local producers and the schools, the social institutions, the tourism, the restaurants, and the consumers. So to create all of these, the network in between all of these, and to help to provide the local products, agricultural products, to all these organizations and the final consumers. And also a seed bank, for example, to store the seeds from different native species to preserve genetic diversity, or a platform, a wiki, like a agriculture wiki, from collecting the knowledge and the information regarding the agricultural production in our region. So the specific characteristics from here that people can share this information. So education, I'm going again more to the main proposals. The education group proposed to have to create a community-based educational project, so that could create opportunities where children could apply knowledge and skills in real life context, and so engaging the community with the education projects, with the education and then formal education programs. Also creating outdoor experience. They are somehow related these proposals, and so that people can explore the beautiful nature that we have here in Cova da Beira or the village, and to engage with the elders and to engage with the heritage and or be in the nature outdoor. Also the proposal of creating a community education council, and so to have representatives of the different education agents, the parents, the elders, the children, and community leaders that could bring proposals and could evaluate how is the educational programs and to bring solutions and more suggestions. So for the environment, again, so this is 3 from other proposals that the group thought about and created. One is the water charter, and so it's to create a campaign, and it's already started, a campaign for the conscious and sustainable management of Cova da Beira water resources, which means to also somehow create a manifesto and to engage the different environmental organizations in the region to get together and to think about how it could be a more conscious and sustainable management of the water. Another proposal is to have this rubbish collection movement, and as already mentioned, it's a place, a beautiful region with a beautiful nature and mountains, but there's a lot of trash, and so this rubbish collection movement would involve citizens and also again the environmental organizations of Cova da Beira to get together and to do this together. And this implementing the glyphosate-free municipalities project. This is related also with the water charter, which means that we have here the use of the pesticides and the herbicides, and this of course goes into our waters. And there's a national project that is this glyphosate-free municipalities project, which means that other municipalities adopted a series of strategies, and they create some educational programs that they went to the parish councils and to the municipalities to somehow to bring raise the consciousness, and also to bring information about the consequences of the use of these pesticides and herbicides. And so this would be another one. And okay, we have the Justice and Social Welfare group. And this group, I think, had a very interesting proposal since the beginning. They were thinking about to have a carers group. I don't know if in English this works, but it is a group of people inside of the movement that would take care somehow of the others inside the movement, which means that many times, and we are volunteers, so we are saying that this is a citizen participatory movement, which means that people are doing these extra hours, extra work, and what they feel is that many times the way that we are living and the system in we are living, so we have to work so much, and people many times needs just to be cared, and so this would be a way of also to create more connection in between all of us. Another is hours bank, sharing competence, and mapping organizations in Cova da Beira that work already in this area, justice and social welfare, and that can connect. And finally, the culture group. Also, this mapping, it's something that almost every group proposes. So to have the mapping of, to know better who is working in which area. So the culture group also had this to have a map and to start to know who are the artists and cultural agents from the region. Besides this, so it's these proposals that so it's equality, space to hosts, participatory arts, shelter for diversity, creation of a movement of local artists and cultural agents. So it's connected with what I mentioned is Cultopia. This movement already started and has their own gatherings and their own events. So they bring together the artists and cultural agents. And support also the Cultopia supports also the Cova da Beira Converge movement and each way. Another proposal was to create guardians of cultural council. So, okay, so from all of these, this was the proposals, right? So some of them were implemented and others are as proposals. So it's a little bit the continuity of our block level planning because it's citizens and organization planning together. And some of them were already implemented. This is more the initiatives that happens during these 2 years of the movement, and goes into what already mentioned. For example, the rubbish, the picking up the trash in the nature, and so different moments that the groups get together and with different organizations, they picking up trash, or to collect seeds and to plant, so make the plantings together. Also the social justice and welfare, they created we were invited to participate in some of the region events, and this is a festival that happens in one of the municipalities. And so the social justice and welfare, they created somehow this moment of an immersive and sensorial experience to provoke the reflection of what it is the well-being for you. It's what is written here in Portuguese, what it is for you well-being. And here, here we can see it's the president of the city hall. They're having this experience and also engaging. The agriculture group also participate in some events. This is also a big festival in the region about the mushrooms. And so the agriculture group was part of this roundtable about mushrooms and their role in the regeneration of agricultural ecosystems. And we also participate with our dances because, as I mentioned, we have this already connected with the movement. People know that we do that. So we were invited to also have our dances in the festival. The agriculture group also went to give some classes in this agricultural professional school. This one was about the water, the water retention techniques. And as I mentioned, the cultural group that already launched the Cultopia, the movement of artists and cultural agents. So they had already events that they brought together artists. And this was this is pictures from the first one, but they already had different events of the Cultopia. So this was examples of events, initiatives that were more simple and were created. But here, to resume a little bit, what are the actions that our Cova da Beira Converge movement that we do? We can say that we have 4 in parallel. So by one hand, we have the block level planning for Cova da Beira, as I mentioned, So some conclusions and report are going to be published in April, in the next month. But again, we think this is not a not ending process. This is something that needs to continue, because always new needs and new problems are identified by the citizen, by the population. So what we feel that we need to do is, so time to time we go again and to have this governance structure of its citizen governance structure that is created and is related with the movement, that are always coming and seeing what are the needs and what are the new proposals and the new solutions. Okay, so the block level planning, then the monthly gatherings, and that we relate with the Samaj movement. And again, it's a way of continuing the diagnosis, planning and creation of new solutions. And also, I didn't mention yet, but the thematic groups, they gather by themselves. So we have monthly gatherings, and in between the thematic groups, they gather also in online meetings or presential meetings. So they, of course, they get together to implement their initiatives. We will continue to create these events that are related with each of the groups, and now more and more we are known in the region, so we are invited to participate in different activities or events that are not created by ourselves, but we are partners, so we are invited to go to different ones. We will continue to have that. It's a way of publicizing the movement and to bring and raise the awareness to the topics that we are bringing. And in the end, so we have the ones that we call structural projects. So they are the ones that are projects that they are more complex and they are structural and can express many of the principles and the vision of the Cova da Beira Converge. And now, so we are going to focus on two of them that are related. And these structural projects, somehow they started in the agriculture group. So it's one of the first things that we think about. It's what is the level of food self-sufficiency in Cova da Beira. So we are thinking about how is our food supply chain. And as I mentioned before, there are some aspects that were observed in the region. So by one hand, we have a very fertile land and with a lot of potential for agriculture. By the other hand, 90% of the farmers, they are small scale. So it's family farming, it's small scale. And what we could see and they express that is they don't it's difficult for them to sell. They have only two markets and one small organic market. So the selling, it's a very small scale also. And what the producer says, that it's so difficult for me to sell that I don't even produce what the potential of my land has. So because it's going to be a waste, I'm not going to produce because then I cannot sell everything. So we know that there's a lot of potential that the producers are not using. And of course, most of the products that are consumed come from abroad or from other regions. And this is not only for the consumers. We went to make some interviews with local institutions and seeing with the city halls, because the city halls has the management of the school canteens. And so we know that this is not the food that they are cooking and giving to the children or in the institutions to the people in the institution, it's not from our region. So they come from abroad. And because all of that, the producers they don't have organized accountability, and because of that, they don't issue invoices, and this creates a cycle that is not possible for the institutions to buy from them because they don't issue invoice, and not even the municipalities that cannot sell to them because they don't issue an invoice. So all of this creates a limitation and a barrier to the selling of the projects. Not even the restaurants or the tourism. So this is a circle that is vicious and creating the barrier. And because all of that, so we started with this idea of having a food sovereignty plan with the local farmers in the center, and somehow doing so all the network in between them and all of the ones that are consuming the vegetables and products, and we are focused first on that. So we already started to work in one of the municipalities that is in Fundão, and having some meetings with the municipality to supply one of the as a pilot project in one school in Fundão. But we started to have meetings to understand that all of this is really a long-term process, but we already started with that. And so the idea is going from the schools, and then go to the social institutions, then the guest house, hotels, restaurants, and to the final consumer, and for all of these to create this local food system. But to do this, we need something and a legal structure that can support these local food systems. So what we created was this Converge cooperative, Cova da Beira Converge, Cova da Beira Cooperative. And the reason it was not only to answer to this need, because this was one of the main needs, and this was the beginning of the idea of to create the cooperative, but also because the movement already has many different areas. So it's agriculture, yes, it's one of the first one and the main ones that we are going in deep, but we have the culture, education, etc. So it's an integral it's an integral dimension, and that we need to answer. So the cooperative comes to answer to what is to implement this local food system. We need to have a structure to implement, and so we started with this as the main project. The cooperative, as it's really new, so it has some weeks now, and we see that. So we created this cooperative with the concept of integral cooperative, and the mission is of this cooperative is to have an integral sustainable development of Cova da Beira, to boost the local economy, fostering resilience, self-sufficiency, and to create opportunities to provide a fair income and quality of life of the region's inhabitants. It's really engaged with the Cova da Beira Converge movement, but why we feel it's different, because so we need to have a legal structure in order to answer to this to some of the commercial needs, and the movement, it's an informal movement that needs to continue. So they are going to happen in parallel. The movement that is what we mentioned and we envision as the Samaj Movement will go in parallel with this cooperative, and somehow they can support each other. So for this cooperative, we have 15 founding members. From these founding members, we have a group of people that come from the movement, the Cova da Beira Converge movement. But we have also the director of the Farmers Association. We have people from very different spheres and actions, so people from culture, agriculture, and communication, and many different aspects. And 5 organizations also that include this District Farmers Association, 2 cultural associations, PRIP itself, and another Kalyani. So what it is, this idea of the integral cooperative, it's a different proposal. So it has it's a multi-sectoral cooperative. So it has these 9 sections. You can operate in any of these sections: agriculture, crafts, consumer, cultural, education, housing and construction, labor production, service, and social solidarity. The proposal of integral cooperative, it's something that is a little bit more than a multi-sectoral cooperative. Multi-sectoral cooperative, it's the legal framework, but the integral cooperative, it's a concept that means that we have a cooperative that operates in a specific territory, and the aim of this is to intervene in all areas necessary for living. And so then they can satisfy the needs of its members in all the economic areas. So food, housing, health, education, social protection, and culture and transport. This concept of integral cooperatives comes as the first one, and the first example in 2010. It's the Catalan Integral Cooperative. So it was created in Spain. It was post-financial crisis of 2008, and with a lot of social movements, they created this integral cooperative. And 5 years later, inspired the first one in Portugal. It's the Minga Integral Cooperative, and it's born here in Portugal. Now, in 2022, it was created a network of integral cooperatives, and currently 13 integral cooperatives are part of this network, and other 8 co-ops. So it's a concept that is gaining so much enthusiasm in Portugal. In Spain, the Catalan Integral Cooperative also inspired many other cooperatives and integral cooperatives. Now, the movement in Portugal is more strong. And I think for us, what we felt the benefits and of why an integral cooperative. So on one hand, it had since the beginning the idea of completely expressing what was already the movement, the Samaj movement, because it was integral. It has all the different aspects of life, but also as is their benefits, because there are more sharing of resources and mutual helping support in between. And this group of people, they share vision for a community or for a bioregion. Also, another benefit, it's for example, because one section of the cooperative can be less profitable, and this can be compensated by the other. So it can bring more opportunities to financial sustainability. So one of the sections can support more financially the other. Also, we can reduce costs, general structural costs, and simplifying the bureaucratic process. So what is this main idea of the integral cooperatives? It's that the members can use one legal structure to operate in different fields and of activity, and that they can do by their own as individual projects or can do in collaboration with others. So in my perspective, it's very, very interesting and can express this maximum utilization of the resources and really bringing people cooperating even more close to each other. So we, right? So we already got and be part of this integral cooperative network. We went to the third forum that they had it, and here we can see the picture of the moment of this forum in last year. There was 15 participants, and so from these 13 cooperative integral cooperatives, and what we can see, it's a very exciting because it's a very young movement in Portugal, but it's something that are getting more and more enthusiasm by people. And some of the cooperatives, for example, one in Lisbon, we went to an event last week, they have 700 members. So it's something that is creating, that is attracting youth, and youth that are open to alternative ways of living and alternative economic, socio-economic models and proposals. And so we are now with them, and we are going to make part, because one of the intentions, this is a national network, but the idea is to create an Iberian network of the integral cooperatives. So it's to combine Portugal and Spain. And so the next forum is going to be in Cáceres in Spain, and we also will be part of that, and we are very excited. Okay, so going into our ending of the presentation, there are some challenges, of course, and some learnings. Not some, a lot of them, but I'm going to mention just a few. And for that, I'm sharing this this graph that it's many times related with learning communities. And it is related that so these movements of people and this participatory process and getting people together, of course, they pass through very different phases and moments. And here, what they express, it's that what we usually see, it's in the beginning, there's a lot of energy and visibility, so in the ignition phase. And this also brings enthusiasm. But after that, there's a power failure, and so people don't go to the gatherings or are not so enthusiastic, and somehow the energy of the group goes a little bit down. And then again, there's need a lot of energy after this to go to another sphere, another phase of energy, and this always goes ups and downs and ups and downs. So the perseverance, it's very important to maintain, and to all of the group to be aware of these different phases, and to be somehow available to pass through the different moments of enthusiasm and not so so energetic moments. And after all of that, here what is mentioned, it's all of that is when we can reach something that is the beginning of the system change, when we attain the space station. But my feeling is that it's not only one rocket, we are a lot of rockets going together, trying to go together to to the moon. So I think the big challenge is the adjustment to the different psychology and the different rhythms, because people are so different. Some of them want to go fast, some of them want to go slow, some of them want to go deep in analysis, some others want actions. And so combine all of these, it's all these rockets together, it's really challenging. Also maintaining the attractiveness of what we want, what we are doing. People get bored. There's a lot of stimulus and many things happening, beautiful things to happen. So to people to maintain and keep going and keep its attractiveness, it's really challenging. Also, this idea that I already mentioned, the volunteer system, because we are saying people need to work, people need to have financial income, and we were reflecting on that. Yeah, it's very interesting, but it's very beautiful what you are doing, but I'm tired, I need to work, etc. So it's, of course, one of the characteristics of our system. And also the disbelief in the results that can be achieved collectively. We since the beginning, when we launched, so it's like a big vision to create a self-sufficient bioregion. It's yes, it's very ambitious. And of course, in the beginning, many people says, I don't believe this is possible in our system. This is not possible. So this disbelief is there. And of course, you cannot see immediate results. And because of that, many of them gives up, no, and are not ready. But also what I felt that it was after all this challenge, something that really brings the glue to all of these, it's the connections that we do together. This brings all the different, and that's why I feel it's difficult to have a block level planning or implementation of solutions, of creating self-sufficiency by region without having a Samaj movement, without having people that are connected to each other. We had some of them saying, I'm coming because I'm connected with all of you. Because there are many different and beautiful initiatives everywhere. So to bring why we are together, it's because of the connection. So that I feel that we need to bring so much attention. And yes, that's what we have, the friendship, we have sharing, we have trust, and this is something that makes the difference and the difference of what we have. And yeah, so to finish, this is the PRIP's proposal, what we are working now and trying to combine all of these three proposals, proud proposals of Samaj Movement Cooperative and block level planning, hands by hand with these connections. And thank you.
Thank you so much, Pradiipa. That was extremely inspiring. I'm sure I'm not the only one that feels that way. We do have some questions in the chat, so maybe we'll start with those, and then if anyone has another question, they can write it down or unmute and we can share. So let me read out what we have so far. We have a question from Dhruva, who asked, how long have you been working on this project? How many people have started the project? I believe you touched on this, but maybe just a brief reminder.
Yeah, so the Cova da Beira Converge, it was in 2022, but the beginning, the participatory diagnosis, it was 2020. And the number of people, so if we are talking about the coordination team, it was like 2 in the beginning, and then we have these 3, but 2 of them part-time. And of course, engaging people and volunteers.
Wonderful. Ramesh has a question. He says, you have 5 working groups, including agriculture, education, and culture, but no economic working group. Why is that?
Yes, because we feel that this is parallel to all of them. And somehow, yeah, we had a moment of one that it was local currency, and this is something that that we applied for an application for a local currency with the partners in also in Spain and France, and maybe can be a group that are more connected with that, but is specific of the local currency and economics. We feel that it's a little bit in all of them somehow.
Wonderful. The last one in the chat I see now is what was step number 1 that PRIP utilized to move from discussion to actions? How many people did it take to start the first actions? What was your most effective methods of outreach to bring in others? And that's from Mark Nevas.
Yeah. So because we had the different working groups, they had different rhythms, and some of them, so it was not everything at the same time. So the actions happened when the group was ready to apply the action. And so these initiatives were a little bit connected with their own rhythms. And some of them were more could reach the action point, and others not so much, or some ideas and some proposals were not ready for action. So since the beginning we had a different moments. The most effective methods of our outreach to bring in others. I think so the combination of the the collective planning sessions that we had since the beginning, combining, then I think it was a very crucial moment when we started to have the round tables, because we had experts somehow, or people that were bringing the topics in a more technical way with more deep knowledge and information and inspiration. So to bring the experts, the moments, and the planning collective sessions, and as I already mentioned, I think it's very effective because somehow were always thinking how we can have the connections, the interpersonal relationship aspect so strong in every moment. I think it's the combination of all of these.
Lovely answer. One more from the chat is this model of integral co-op spreading to other areas of the world that you know of? And then we'll go to Alex.
Sorry.
Sorry. The question is from Andy Douglas. He says, is this model of integral cooperative spreading to other areas of the world that you know of?
Yes. I was asking for exactly 2 days ago to the person that made research regarding this, and no, we don't know any of them. So it started in Spain and came to Portugal, and now it's more strong in Portugal, and so that's why now Portugal wants to open to Iberian, because want to bring again the energy in Spain. But that we know, we don't know. No.
Okay. Alex, did you have a question?
I do, but let me first preface it with a comment. I just have to say this is such a remarkable presentation, and I'm thrilled. And I know many others are thrilled that this work is even happening. And as a model for all of us aspiring to have first steps of practical strategies of doing Prout work, this is just thrilling. So thank you, Pradiipa, Prahlad, Maheshwara, PU Global, and the ProutSpace for this opportunity to share this with everyone. So my question, I have a ton of questions, but let me just give the most obvious one off the top of my head. In giving Prout to the public and fostering a sense of community is the spiritual component. And I noticed that in the cultural aspect, there didn't seem to be a piece that was connecting either faith groups or spiritual groups necessarily. And I think that maybe that comes at a certain stage of creating a sense of community. But I was wondering, where that aspect might fit into your strategy, or if there's been discussions about it in your working groups.
Yes. In our groups, it didn't occur so much. So it was mentioned, some of them, but not so deep. Of course, we went at some point, we had the gathering in our and the Cagliani master unit. So they were engaged. Dada was there and he was present. Many of the people know that some of us, because we have Margis in different working groups, they know that we have this spiritual approach, and the Prout has the spiritual approach. We had the gathering, and that we talked about economic democracy, and we presented Prout, and so all of these were, it's known, it's mentioned, but until now, none of them were like ready to bring this spiritual aspect as a proposal and bringing more strategies related to that. What I found very interesting, and I think I agree with you, I think it has stages, and somehow we are in a rural area and working a lot of, so with a some of conservative, some of the people are conservative, others are very open to this, because we have like also in the movement what is called the new rurals, and people that came from outside to the rural area that are very open, and they are also spiritual people, and they do their practices, and but we are combining this, and the conservative culture that is somehow present also, it's creates a distance to this aspect, and we know that. So we wanted to be very subtle. We are not blocking, or we're not hiding anything. We are very calm, and that's who we are, but we are not bringing that. We are not yet. What I found very interesting was, and now I'm going to make the jump to the Integral Cooperatives movement and network, that they are very open to that, and that many of the people brings that as a structural part, and some of them are putting that in their basic presentations. So and yeah, I feel that in that community, it's really more open, and yeah, something that comes.
I think
Thank
Shri
you.
has a question. Thank you for that, Pradiipa.
It's wonderful to see you. I'm so inspired, and I can't wait to see you. And what, next month?
Yay! Me
Bye.
too.
Who knows? So there you are. So my question is about the 2 or 3 organizers that you started with, and 12 different rockets, and how the decision making is made with all of these different layers in the community. So I'm wondering how agendas for meetings are established in advance to create a platform for collaborative decision making, and what's working and what's not working.
Yeah, that's a very important aspect, and I guess what we had, the strategy of the most decentralized decision-making process. So it's kind of each of the group that are together, they create their own agendas, and there's nothing. We had at some point proposals of agendas, but it was a proposal, and then the group decided if this makes sense now, or if we want to do things differently. Most of the times were synchronized, but also the groups also did in different ways. There were many gatherings that we had one idea, and they said, no, we don't want to discuss that. We want to go deep in other aspects. And this is a participatory, citizen participatory process, and so this happens, and so things goes to the ways that we don't control. Actually, it was one of my biggest doubts in the beginning, how we, because we have a very clear agenda, it's Prout, how we create a citizen process, participatory process that is open to what is coming, and we combine this with our agenda that is very clear. We want like this self-sufficiency, we want this economic democracy, we want so many cooperatives, etc. But I was with this doubt, and I shared with someone like Govinda, and I shared this doubt and said, since the beginning, okay, when this comes, we discuss that. When this friction or tension comes, we take care of that. And that never came. But because what I feel is that, of course, there are different opinions and people want more like this and this, but the difference are not so significant, because people that comes together to this kind of gatherings already has they already they are synchronized already with the general vision. So if they are synchronized with the general vision, they're not so significant things that, you know, people don't want a big supermarket to like, this doesn't come because it's not their culture. And so somehow this flows in a more smooth way that I thought in the beginning. Then, of course, we look, because we are the coordinating team. We invite people or speakers or that can bring inputs then that are also aligned with the proposals, and this had to be like that some way. So somehow we are putting our own perspectives in the way that we create each of the events, for example, or the people that we invite. Yeah, but the decisions are really decentralized in Resume.
Awesome. So we're coming towards the close, and I might just make the announcements that I need to make, and then if there's time for one more question, we can open it up. But maybe before I do that, Pradiipa, is there a way that people can get in contact with PRIP? And Taraka has something. Do you want to unmute? Do you want to say something, Taraka? Or Talia?
I will share
okay.
her.
Okay, great.
Yeah, thank you, Raka.
Okay, lovely. So while that's up, I just want to give another huge thank you to you, Pradiipa, for being here, sharing your time, sharing your experience. So visually, it was so visually beautiful, your presentation. I just want to name that because it was so that really helped to make it as engaging, and the work itself is fantastic, as everyone has said. So thank you for being with us. Talia has put a feedback form in the chat. Maybe you can put it there one more time. So if you all would be willing to fill that out, that would help us a lot at Proudest Universal to improve our future events. And then the last announcements that I like to make are about staying connected. So Proudest Universal is in a kind of a growth period right now, and there's a lot of exciting things happening. And so we would like to encourage you all to stay connected on social media, which is Instagram and YouTube. This recording will be shared on YouTube, and that link will go out in our April newsletter, which should go out on the 2nd of April. And finally, we would like to invite as many of you as are able to offer a monthly donation to Proudest Universal to do that. This will allow us to continue doing the work of connecting and supporting these different Prout initiatives around the world, providing high quality Prout education and strengthening the Prout movement overall as a result. So we're very fortunate to have a generous match funder, which means that any gift that you're able to offer will be doubled. So I'm going to put our donation link in the chat. And if you are able, please offer what you can. We'll be very, very grateful. And finally, our next ProutSpace event is going to happen on April 26th at 1 p.m. and it will be with Kanyu Baheda from India. Is that correct, Taraka? Okay.
Yes.
And more information will also come out about that in a newsletter and an announcement. So we would love to have as many of you as possible join us in the future at these events. And that's all. Thank you from me. And we do have 3 more minutes, so I want to open it back up if anyone has any last comments or questions for Pradiipa.
Yes.
Mukhtarma, please.
Okay. I will not repeat those nice things that has been said about this presentation and what Prout Portugal is doing. I'm also very appreciative of what you, Pradiipa, could do with the volunteers, but I know how difficult it is to work with volunteers and to keep them ongoing and to keep them motivated. That's a great job. Huh? Okay. Could you please show back to one of the first slides you show with the overall presentation of what you did? That I would like to copy it.
Mukhtarma, it will be available in the recording on YouTube.
Okay.
So you can see it there. Yeah.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you.
I also can make as a PDF document and share with you.
Oh, yeah, great.
Sure.
What a nice job you did. Huh? For the presentation. It was perfect. Yeah.
Thank you, my dear.
So
And
clear.
thank you.
Yeah.
Yes, I would like to thank you all. Okay, I think
All
one
right.
more question.
Yeah.
John Linkard just wanted to say something.
Yeah,
ahead.
I want to, again, join the chorus of compliments. Outstanding presentation. And I want to refer back to some of us had the great benefit of seeing an original presentation some years ago when you did one with EDA. And I think probably James and company invited you for that. And so some of us were aware early on of just the incredible work, but I am so impressed with the dynamism that has happened just since then. And back then it was very inspiring. So tremendous compliments to all that you're doing. And thank you for this wonderful presentation.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah, Pradiipa, one thing I noticed is just the massive emphasis on community that your project has is I think is so crucial and is sometimes forgotten, I think, in the minds of Proutists, and it just that emphasis is so refreshing and inspiring, and hope gives me so much hope to see that in action. So
Yes.
we will close there.
Me too. Sorry, I just wanted to say that for me also ignited a fire in my heart because, yeah, just connecting with people and really the human part is like the most important for everything else to work, because if not, then yeah, it's so hard. So thank you for inspiring me and giving me hope, like Anna said. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And I want to thank you also because I know that some of the Cova da Beira Converge movement participants were in this meeting, and I'm really, really happy for that. So we don't have only the Margis and Proutis, and somehow they were connected as I know, like Mark and Francisco and maybe some others that I didn't check. Thank you for coming.
I
Thank
think
you,
that-
everyone. Oh, go ahead.
Yeah, I think the thing that's so fundamentally important about what you're doing is the world's creating so many distractions about what's wrong and what the challenges are. And so the key is what you're doing, and that's building what will work, what is the new era. And that's where the true inspiration comes from, is you're showing that there is an alternative, contrary to the prevailing tenor, there is no alternative thinking. And just, I think, people's concern about the clear deterioration of the status quo paradigm and why it's so vitally important to be ready with the alternative. And that's precisely what you're building.
Yeah, thank you. I totally agree with you, and just would like to say two last things. One is that I really feel that we need to unite with the ones that are already doing beautiful things. And I feel that here, for example, it's like this cooperative network, but there are so many others, so many beautiful and proud solutions already implemented in the world by the hands that are not called proutists, and that we need to unite with all of them. We will really be more strong, and to say that we are a big team, and I'm here representing like the big team. We say three, but there are more, and one of them, it's for sure one Pralad that is here, is very silent, it's observing, but is one of the key persons in this movement also. So thank you.
Yeah, that's why it's important to be able to transmit this information everywhere we can, because most people, as said, are in that bad world, and to see there are alternatives that is working, that is actively working, that is an important thing to do. Huh? Yeah.
And with that, Talia has put the feedback form one more time in the chat, but we're at our time, so we'll close now. Oh, Proudest Universal, which I think is Alok, raised his hand. Do you want to say something?
Namaskar. Thank you very much. And just in that key, we are also creating the Prout Research Institute Global, and the first initiative is the Prout Scientific Journal. So if there is anybody here that would like to submit an article or to be a reviewer of an article for this first edition, this first year, we are on the way to form the first group, and you will be very much welcome.
Awesome. Thank you. Thanks everyone for being here, and you will receive the recording of this in the newsletter in April.
Thank you.
Okay.
Thank you.
Namaskar.
Thank you.
Bye.
Yeah, thank you. Namaskar.
Namaskar, everybody.